the most extraordinary artist.
You do recognize his style from miles and miles away. What I love is that it's the simplest things. You have such an allure.
First times I met him, I was terrified. I mean, the persona himself, everybody is so iconic. It's almost like a rock star. I mean, he's like a rock star.
Makes the body like an art.
I mean, he's got this knowledge, you know? I mean, he can tell you stories about fashion and anecdotes, and at the same time, he's got this enthusiasm of a child.
Karl is amazing, because one of the things I think he's quite proud about is that the bit of Karl that we're permitted and privileged to see is the bit that he allows and chooses us to see. I mean, he's an extraordinary man, a very, very private man who's perfected being an extraordinarily public man.
Karl, welcome to the show. It's wonderful to have you with us today.
Nice to be there.
We're in Shanghai ahead of the Chanel Global Show. The first Chanel store has just opened here in this city.
Yeah.
What have been your observations about China and about fashion's place in this country?
For me, it's the idea of China, whatever it is, the good one, the bad one, the whole thing. It's a mysterious country, but we don't speak the language. So we live in a way separated from them, even if we are here, because maybe you speak Chinese, I don't. Since I'm here, I did nothing else than rehearsing the show. So I must say, I cannot say a lot how it is.
You produce 8 collections a year for Chanel,
yes,
and 3 or 4 for Fendi?
Yeah, Fendi 2 pre-fall, and for Lagerfeld the same thing. That made 8 and 4 and 4, there's 16, something like this. But I don't count, you know, you count, I don't. So.
What we know, though, you know, whether you know the number or not, is that it is, well, it sounds like a tremendous amount of work. How do you manage it all?
You know, it's my main job. I mean, my 2 other jobs are photography and publishing books, but all that is linked and inspiring. I don't know, I don't even think about it, you know. I don't have a very intense social life and all that, because I had that in the past. Now what I like is my working life.
Last year you staged the first fashion show ever on the Great Wall in Beijing, and that was
yes,
for Fendi.
Yes. That was great, cold but great.
Yeah, I mean, an amazing
Freezing,
spectacle. Huh? Absolutely, but you know, what an incredible spectacle.
It was
but
unbelievable.
You can only imagine the, you know, hideous logistical details that would have had to go into something like that.
Yes.
Do you concern yourself with that at all?
No, those kind of details I avoid. Huh? I want only the sunny side of life, you know, and in my work too. Huh? I don't take care of numbers, I don't take care of business. I'm just a designer, that's enough for me. And it has not to be my name on the product like Chanel or Fendi, because people know me anyway. I cannot cross the street and need bodyguard. That means that you can even do without. Huh?
Exactly. How do you deal with that side of life? Because, you know, you think of the designer being somebody behind the scenes, but you are the most recognizable designer in the world.
Yes, but, you know, sometimes it can be pleasant, sometimes it can be unpleasant. But in a way it's flattering. You know what is very flattering in that story is that people in the street who talk to me, who want autographs, who want to be photographed, are very young people. This is, for me, the most surprising thing. But I think it's very flattering. The older ones are not so crazy for me.
You've been at the helm of Chanel now for more than a quarter of a century. But when you were approached about taking on this job, everybody around you said, "Oh my God, what are you thinking? You know, why would you do that? The label is dead." What convinced you that they were wrong?
I like challenge, and also I like Mr. Wertheimer, the owner. So he said, "You can do with it what you want." So what we did, and it worked. Now it's a kind of blueprint for all that, because I was the first to do that, and people thought old labels were dead. But now established labels, they are like an institution, and they are kind of guarantee for quality.
You certainly shook things up a lot when you took on this job, and
there was not much to pick up, you know.
Well, I mean, you took the classic Chanel suit and made it teeny weeny, and
yes,
you know,
yes,
chunky
but,
chains and sneakers with it.
It was limited, but there are a lot of things people think were very Chanel. She never did. I do. My job was also to put in people's brains the idea what Chanel was all about, and I pushed her symbols like the chain, the pearls, the bows, in a way much more than she did herself. She invented a look what is like the two-button suit for men, for women. But that had to be updated all the time because the shape, the material. But around that, I could play with everything. And I mix it with everything what's going on in fashion, because fashion is about that. It's not a retrospective. It has to be something you want to wear now.
But the traditionalists were horrified and thought that you were, you know, bastardizing the dignified name of Coco Chanel. How did you respond to them?
Yeah, this is something I never even thought about, because, you know, she had made a big mistake. In the early 60s, when hippies came, miniskirt, jeans, she said all that was horrible. And if you are a designer and you say, this fashion, what was the fashion of the world, the youth, the new generation wanted to dress like this, and like courage and all that, said it's an aura. Then you put yourself in a position what is very dangerous. And in those days, she had not the power to impose what she thought was elegant, because suddenly it was dowdy. A designer has to be an opportunist. If there's something in the air, you have to catch it and do it your way. That's fashion.
Do you care what people think about what you do?